with the fear of being here on my own, where the wind's blowing.
Well, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So Carol Ann have come over and I have come over to the east coast of Scotland. We're going to do a wee tour around Ely, maybe St Maurins, and then maybe Anstruther, just because I promised Carol Ann dinner at Anstruther for the famous chip shop for some nice fish and chips later on. And what we've come over here because it's really windy, so I was hoping to see if we could get some interesting sea shots, but the wind seems to have went down. There's not crazy waves, but there should be waves. Carol Ann's walking along. So what we're doing is we're just around this area as Lady Mary's Tower. So we're going to go to this side of Lady Mary's Tower and see if we can find anything interesting. So we'll catch back soon. The first warning sign. A risk of being cut off at high tide. You go first, Carol Ann. Straight on. I'll stay up here and you can shout and let me know if it's clear. Oh, I'm not saying we're disappointed, but as we get down here on the beach, it's really calm.
Don't even need my hat.
I know. What did you put your hat on for? So that's Lady Mary's Tower. But I've just noticed there's a nice tree log there, but look at these rocks. Some really nice formations here. Could make some nice foreground interest, especially over here with Lady Mary's Tower in the background. So what I'll do is I'll go down and have a look, and we'll see if there's anything of interest. Well, as we get set up here, there we go, we've got our mermaid model sitting over there on the rock. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get set up here, because I'm going to use that big rock in front of me as a leading line. I've got Lady Mary's Tower in front of me, as you'll see just up here. I've got this rock formation and the tide's actually coming in. So what I want to try and do is slow down the water. So I'm going to have a long exposure. And as part of that long exposure, I'm going to have a 30-second shutter speed. I'm sitting at f11 and I'm probably going to have to do a photo stack and take 2 images and have an image where I've got the foreground in detail, and then I'll focus in on the tower, get the second image with the tower in detail, and then I'll bring the 2 together. So once I'm finished, I'll share that image with you now.
I can't stop thinking about those years ago.
Alright, so I'm going to use these rocks that are in front of me as a leading line. It's actually quite nice. So I'm just going to, what I'll do is, as you can see, I've got these rocks, so that'll be probably better to turn it round as a portrait shot. So what I'll do is I'll do a landscape shot first, and then I'll do a portrait shot, and then when I've finished, I'll share these images with you, and I'll be doing long exposure again, so the water will be all smoothed out, which is perfect because the rocks are all stationary and they're not moving.
I can't stop thinking about those years ago, when sleeping next to you was usual.
So what I'm doing here is I'm just closer, getting close-up shots, but still trying to get Mary's Tower in the distance. But I'm using all this worn away sand that the trickly water's coming through and carved through and made a shape, and I'm using that as a foreground interest, shooting into the sea, but I'm still keeping that as a long shutter speed so that all the water's smooth. I'm just hoping these will turn out. That's something I don't do very often, but we'll give it a try and let's see what happens.
I'd rather spend a lifetime on my own.
So what I've done is I've changed the big stopper and I've put the ND64 filter on, and I've got a second shutter speed with f10 ISO 100, and what I'm trying to do is just get some smoothness in the water but not totally flat like we've done before. And I'm trying 2 or 3 of these shots and I'm focusing on the waves coming in, and then so this wave's coming in, And then here's hoping as the wave starts to go out, maybe start to get some lines and dragging. So if these images turn out, I'll share these with you now.
They never been in love those years ago, but now remembering is all I know. There's a storm coming, summer's just around the bend, and my bottle's empty once again, and my feet's burning on the roads we used to walk, where the rivers walked along with us. I can't stop thinking about those years ago, when sleeping next to you was usual. I'd rather spend a lifetime on my own than ever been in love those years ago.
I've kind of lost the light, so there's a big wave of clouds coming in and the sun's went behind the clouds. So there is a spot of light on Anstruther, the town over in the horizon there. So I'm going to use the dark foreground, and then hopefully that in the horizon the bright Anstruther town will brighten up. I've got my polarizer on, I've still got the ND64 on because I've got a wee water pool in front of me and I want to be able to see through that water pool. So I'll do 2 or 3 little compositions here, and when I've finished I'll share those images with you now.
And my feet's burning on the roads we used to walk, where the rivers walked along with us. I can't stop thinking about those years ago, when sleeping next to you was usual.
Kind of lost the light, so we're struggling, aren't we?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we've taken a few more shots, so hopefully you've seen them, and we'll say goodbye to Lady Mary's Tower and we'll head further up the coast, and we'll catch back with you at the next location, and hopefully that'll be St Monans. We've arrived in St Monans. Right, time to head down to the zigzaggy pier.
Face only once this weekend. You keep him busy, always things to do. Our situation still undecided.
The tide's up pretty high, so we're about an hour from high tide. I'm going to go over onto the harbour wall on this side. It'll be really interesting to see if I'm even able to get a photograph. Carlan's scouting the harbour wall. So if we lift that up, Carlan will show us what it looks like. It's not as rough as we've seen it in the past, but it could make for some nice photos. So what I'm doing is I'm using the pier with a zigzag formation. I'm trying to keep the top of the wall below the horizon line, and then we're getting the odd splash of water coming over all the time. So I'm hoping to capture that. I'll use a fast shutter speed so we can freeze it, and then I'll put an ND filter on so we can soften the water. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 or 3 of these images and I'll share these images with you now.
Our situation still undecided. None of us knows what we wanna do. It happened last week when I stopped by your place. My hands were shaking when I rang your bell, and
just trying our best to try and catch the waves when we can. It's really hard because you just can't time it, and I'm using a 2-second timer. I've switched from an ND3 to an ND64 filter, and I'm trying to slow the shutter speed down, so I'm now at 1/8 of a second. So I don't want to freeze the water as much. I'm trying to see if I can get some motion and smoothness in it. But I have no idea how these are going to work out. So what we'll do is, just so we stay safe, is we'll take as many photos as we can, and then we'll share those final images with you now.
If you show me this, I'll give you that. Everything we ever wanted, and this, for what it's worth, give it a try. But if we stay like this, then you know what? Then I don't wanna seize the moment. So let's, for what it's worth, give it a try. We can stay up late like if nothing matters. You can hold my hand when no one's around. And I bet that we both are waiting for something. But we can wait until the feeling's gone. If you show me this, I'll give you that. Everything we ever wanted, and this, for what it's worth, give it a try. But if we stay like
That land's getting blown away. Hold on tight. It's very, very windy. So what we're going to do is, it's probably a wee bit too dangerous to stand on that wall now. So what we'll do is we'll head off to our last location and give Garlan her dinner, and we'll see if we can get something in Anstruther to eat.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, I don't know how it's going to work with the wind, but we're going to see if we can get some nighttime photography in the harbour. But let's get there first. I'm walking round the edge of the pier, the harbour here in Anstruther, and I'm just catching the last bit of the sunset. What I'm doing is I'm just walking around and I'm looking at various shots, looking for different compositions. So I've got a lot of yachts and boats in the harbour, trying to do some long exposures, and I've just got the lighthouse here in front of me. So what I'll do is, once I've finished taking these images, I'll share these images with you. Alright, so I think I'm going to try and finish the video here. Caroline's in the car because she's far too cold, so it's really, really windy. So here's hoping we can make a video. Hopefully some of these images have turned out tonight in this crazy wind. And if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that'll let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks very much for watching, and here's to the next video.